Hello and welcome to episode end of 2021. We are doing our end of year special where we take a look back on our top 5 geeky things. With me, as always, from the Great White North, Shanine. How are you doing?
Very chilly.
How chilly
Is
is it?
currently minus 15 Celsius. So not as cold as it has been last week. Got real cold.
Cameron, are you Googling
I
it?
am Googling.
And it just keeps snowing.
For those of
It's
us that are only dumb and have a stupid temperature system, that's 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So so you're above zero
Chilly
for us. But,
for us.
and then joining us from somewhere, Colorado. I'm not actually sure. Emma
Where in the world is Emma today?
could
I
be
guess we'll never
yeah,
know.
could be
But
literally
there is
anywhere.
a dog involved.
Oh, Neil Pupper.
This is Rue. Hi. He wants to say hello. He's like 2
Oh,
or something. He's still a little bit of a pup, but he's a cutie pie. So I'm having a good day. Yes.
yeah.
So that is I have a bit of a cold, but overall I'm not complaining.
That's good.
Yes.
Listeners, let us know what your top 5 geeky things are over on our social media, OneGeek411. Join us in our Discord server. Send us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com and check out our website, onegeek411.com. Can watch live Monday nights, 6:45 Mountain Time. Be part of the post-show chats. And then you can also check out our videos over on YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe. Then you can also rate and subscribe wherever it is that you listen to podcasts, and then check out our Redbubble store. So I believe Shanine and Emma, y'all were with us last year for our 2020 top 5, which was indeed an event that occurred at the end of a year.
Yes.
About the nicest thing that I can say about 2020. So overall, before we get into the specifics, what is y'all's overall take on 2021 from a geeky perspective?
I mean, it feels like a catch-up year, given 2020.
Mhm.
So, given the context of 2020, things could have been worse, a whole lot worse, in terms of a catch-up year. I think overall, the geeky world did very well in picking up
Mhm.
where they left off.
yeah, I think it was a good year for geeks. Kind of took a while to get rolling, but it was definitely all uphill.
For me, I feel like super conflicted about about this year from a geeky perspective. Like on one end, there's like super high highs. Like we'll get to some of those on our top 5s. Then on the other end, and this is something that I talked about last week on our when we were going to talk about the Game Awards. Like from some of my geeky hobbies, like video games and even board games to a lesser extent, this is kind of the year where like because we're not doing cons, it's just like I just like wasn't overly hyped by a lot of like new stuff, and so it just kind of feels weird in that regard. Where like I said, there's like some really high highs of like this brand new stuff, and then there's like other stuff that just like it is what it is.
There's none of the hype events.
Yeah, exactly. And like some of like the big like shows were coming back, but it wasn't stuff that like we were really comfortable going to, or any of the cons that like PAX West happened, but they were so like down to the last minute on it that we ended up going to a different event. And so like it was like that kind of thing. And that's kind of a decent segue into our rules of our top 5, and that is, as always, there are no rules. And so it can be basically it's anything geeky that you experienced this past year. It doesn't have to be brand new. It doesn't even like strictly have to be new to you. It's just anything geeky that you partook in.
Participated.
Participated. That's like the classic, like you're typing and you can't figure out the word, so you just erase it and like put in a completely different thing because you can't figure out how to spell.
I know what I'm trying to say, but
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it.
Yeah. That was me prepping our tweet for this and forgetting how to spell reminiscing and having to
That's a hard
spin,
word.
but I wasn't close. Like it was one of those things where like I Googled it and Google was like, I don't know what you mean. And I was like, welp, here we are.
Word for nostalgic, but it's not.
So
when you're thinking upon the past.
Yes. So I guess with that, let's go ahead and get going. And we're also going to try a new thing for this year's top 5. And that is if we have anything that's overlapping, we're going to kind of see and like have it as one big conversation versus separating them out into separate people's lists. And then as always, we'll chime in on everyone else's top 5 for the things that maybe we enjoyed but didn't quite make ours or something like that. So let's go ahead and get into it. Emma, why don't you start us off?
The biggest and bestest thing of this year for me was starting grad school. Yay!
Congratulations.
That's a given. Yay. Month 12, I've survived. Actually, more like 8 months, 9 months, whatever, math. I don't do math. 2 semesters. Very exciting.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot that you did like almost like a Maymester kind of thing.
Yeah. Started in January.
You didn't do. Am I just like completely dumb?
I started spring semester. So I did a spring semester, summer break, and then fall semester.
Yeah, so I am just completely dumb. Yeah. Well, I congratulated you online on finishing your first semester of grad school, and what I definitely meant was your first year of grad school. So
I got you. I understood what you were trying to say.
And I am just like completely dumb and forgot that you had started spring semester.
Well, it's very exciting because film school is very nerdy in my world and for a lot of people. So I get to make the movies and it's fun. So I feel very accomplished in that. I don't think there's much that is relatable aside from TV show top 5s. But
yeah, that's awesome. And I'm excited to see what all you'll be making once you're like allowed to show people.
I may secretly be sharing a thing.
Secrets.
Don't tell anyone.
I love secrets.
This is the first time I've used my computer in a week, but I may be secretly sharing a thing with you guys soon.
You have my attention.
Yes. Has to do with candy.
I do love candy.
Yeah. I think we all do. So keep your eye out for a paper bag full of mysterious candy.
To be delivered by Sketchy Van.
By a Sketchy Van. With an old dentistry office label on the side. And a guy who looks like he should definitely not be there.
Shanine, what do you got?
Okay. Personal geeky news for me too. Being published in Thy Geekdom Come 2.
Woo!
Yay!
Geeky sci-fi devotional. Is very exciting getting to write about Doctor Who and Violet Evergarden.
I'm super excited.
Only the best things. Yes.
Thanks.
It's always the most satisfying feeling. Seeing your work on the big screen or in the book or in the whatever.
Yep. And I feel like this was a big year for that with you. Like,
yeah.
like doing that. Then even recently knocking out NaNoWriMo, like, and then like obviously like blog stuff type things too, like getting the Zoomy.
Yeah,
Woo!
it was big writing year.
Yay, Shanine. Go, Cameron, go.
So for me, I don't have anything crazy personal to share, like those two. So I guess I'm gonna just start picking stuff. And for me, I'm gonna start with Star Wars Visions. And so this is one of my things that's on my list that actually came out this year. And so for people that don't know, Star Wars Visions is an anthology. I think it was 10 episodes, 8 episodes. They were all anime inspired and created by various anime studios. There was some overlap in terms of studios that did certain things. And I really enjoyed this take. In general, I'm pretty pro anytime an IP lets other people make cool stuff. That's like part of it. And so this kind of hit right up my alley, even as like not necessarily the biggest anime fan, but just kind of getting to see these other takes, like the over the top style that comes from anime, getting to see that in Star Wars, or even a lot of like the Star Wars cartoons, as like fantasy as they are still a bit more grounded within like the normal rules of Star Wars. So kind of getting to see these studios just go bananas and do whatever they want, I thought was really cool, and definitely left me wanting like a season 2 of that, especially when we compare that to Marvel's What If, which came out about the same time, and that one kind of felt more like a chore to watch for me. Getting to then have Star Wars Visions that is I felt a much more engaging What If story, and a very interesting take on that IP. So also shout out to the Mountain Nerds, where you can hear Deanna and I talk about Star Wars Visions and rate each episode. Number 3 might surprise you. But did y'all watch Visions? I'm pretty sure we've talked about it, but
I haven't even
Yeah.
seen What If, so my life has been so busy.
well, don't see What If. But Shanine, what were your thoughts on Visions?
Overall, I liked it. Like, I super loved the concept of, animated Star Wars, not necessarily canon, but just like exploring the world in a super imaginative, fun way, telling stories that we don't usually get in our other Star Wars universe things. And yeah, some of them I was super meh about. Some of them were really cool, and I'd love to see more of it.
And I think they have
I'll put
confirmed
that
a
on my
season 2.
list.
Yeah, definitely put it on your list. Definitely recommend.
Is that Disney Plus?
Yes.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Of course.
And
that is.
they're fast watches too.
Are they
you
like
can just
20-minute episodes or whatever?
less.
Yeah, like some are like
Some of
15,
them are.
like which is another thing that I'm a fan of, like side top 5. As we get more and more into this streaming age, like we're getting less and less like shows have to be this specific length.
Yeah.
Like it's very much less like this has to be 22 minutes so we can have 8 minutes of commercial kind of thing. And it's much more able to like, well, here's the story that we have. It's this long. This is how long the episode's going to be.
Yeah.
And so I've talked about that basically since like Netflix got going on their own content. And I think as like more and more studios get comfortable with it, we're getting more and more of that variability, which I think is great for storytelling. Emma, we'll kick it back up to you.
Sorry, I'm going to turn on this light.
How dare you?
How dare I?
For the audio listeners, Emma turned on a light.
I turned on a light. Speaking of Disney, or Didney, as I called it recently, I went to Disneyland. I called it Disneyland because that was fun. And it was very exciting. It was the first time I've gone in 21 years. For context, I went when I was 5. You can do the math.
So you remember it perfectly.
I remember
Nothing had changed.
very specific parts of it very vividly. So it was a lot of fun. We were standing in the line for the Indiana Jones ride, and I was like, I remember very specifically there's a boulder, and he's hanging off a rope in front of the boulder. And my mom was like, What? No. I think you're thinking of a dinosaur ride at Disney World. And then we did Indiana Jones, and he was hanging off a rope in front of a boulder. And I was like, Ha, I told you. The rope, boulder. Put them together. What do you got? Indiana Jones ride.
It's kind of like a Mad Lib for like any Indiana Jones thing. You got treasure, snakes, boulder, rope. Like,
yeah.
Those are the 4 things you need in your script. Notice I did not list aliens. So
aliens just don't fit. Yeah, so there were like, I had quite a few of those moments from when I was 5 of just like remembering oddly specific things, and then others like not remembering anything. But it was a lot of fun. I got to do the big roller coaster, like what we've called California Screamin' for years. It's now like the Incredicoaster or whatever. I've wanted to do that roller coaster for 21 years. Finally
really
got
cool.
to do it. I was too short as a 5-year-old to do it.
Makes sense.
Obviously. We did it twice. It was so much fun. Really enjoyed it. Disneyland is a complete and total blast. So that was definitely a highlight of my year. Just getting to do 3 full days of a park. We finally got to do the Rise of the Resistance ride, and that was totally worth it. We paid the extra $20 for the fast pass or whatever, and it was awesome. So it was a big highlight and a lot of fun. 10 out of 10 would do it again.
Did you
got
have
a bunch of
Dole Whip?
pins? I did not. We did a lot of our we did the whole like pin trading scene, because it's kind of where my little hobby of collecting pins came from, was when I was 5 years old, seeing all the pins, and then we went back and I was like, pins, I want more. So I got a lot. One of my favorite ones is this little stormtrooper who's squatting down with his gun going pew pew. There's a little flag coming out of it that says pew pew on it. It's a lot of fun. So, that's my number 2. I mean, that kind of goes back to your Star Wars visions, because Star Wars, lots of fun. We also did the Avengers Campus.
I'm so jealous.
Also a lot of fun. Got to see Captain America, Thor, Loki, Black Panther. We saw the Doctor Strange magic show, mini magic show. It was super fun, super cool. Which can go to Shanine, an action point. Marvel. On to you, Shanine.
Okay, sure. We'll jump to Marvel. I don't know. There was a lot of great Marvel content this year, and 2 of my favorite things, no spoilers, but Spider-Man No Way Home. So good.
Okay.
And WandaVision.
If you haven't seen that by now, then you're
way
late.
I will spoil WandaVision.
Yes. You have had several months to watch that.
The entire year. Yeah, I loved WandaVision so much. It was so different from all other Marvel content that we have gotten before, and just so different of a show in general. And I loved it. It was great.
Yep. And this is our first big overlap. So one of my top 5 as well is more specifically, or more generally, I guess, the MCU returning as a whole. Like, not getting the MCU in 2020 was kind of rough. And then I feel like now we got like all this catch up where we're on like the 5th show and the 4th movie, and like all of this stuff is coming out this year. Yeah, just to echo what Shanine was saying, Spider-Man No Way Home and WandaVision were my two highlights from this year as well. And I feel like we actually went back and rewatched WandaVision on Halloween. We just binged the whole thing.
Nice.
And that show is so good. Um, like everything that you were just saying, Shanine, it's just like it's so unlike the rest of the MCU. And honestly, like even going back and doing the rewatch, I kind of wish they didn't feel the need to have to do like the big action fight scene at the end. Because I kind of liked this is just a sitcom.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously it gets deeper than that, but like I just loved that take. Even compared to like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Hawkeye, which were both amazing shows, but are much more like stereotypical MCU in terms of what all's happening. And so WandaVision was like this really fun way to kick off the year and get to see this very different content for what the MCU could be in Phase 4. And then we had Black Widow. But yeah, see our spoiler cast on that. I'm raising my hands here so that future Cameron will remember to put a thing in the corner as a link for that. Hopefully I did that long enough. The last time I did that, I did not raise my hands long enough, and I couldn't find where it was, and so that was a party. So, but yeah, so MCU was awesome, and Shanine, I kind of jumped in and bandwagoned with you. Anything else you wanted to say about Spider-Man and WandaVision?
No, that's pretty much it. Spider-Man was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of want to go see it again.
Yeah.
Kinda?
Yeah, kind of as in almost immediately went and bought another ticket to see it again after we finished.
Our movie-going experience for that was horrible, so I would like to see it again and have people who don't feel the need to scream their narration throughout the whole movie.
Oh no.
Jeez. I had
so
people sitting behind me who were also talking the whole time, and it was very annoying. They got shushed at one point by someone a few rows down, and it helped.
Like,
but
we had a very loud theater, but it was very loud in the sense of like everyone was cheering and like some things would occur, and then the theater would cheer at those things that occurred. Trying to be as spoiler free as possible, and like the first time one of those things occurred, there was a lot of hype, and then it kind of just didn't die for the rest of the movie as like everyone was going crazy. And so it was very much like, again, it was very loud, but it's kind of the reason I love going to the Alamo Drafthouse. But also, please sponsor us. But then also the reason that I love going to premieres, like getting to go back and have that full energy of like, it was like a packed house for us.
Yeah.
Which I think it was for most of the country, as like, it's like the third best opening weekend of any movie ever, and the other two are also MCU movies.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was just awesome getting to be back and getting to have all that energy. And I'm definitely sad that y'all had the bad side of that movie going experience.
It wasn't the worst. I mean, fortunately, I was able to hear, like, I was far enough away from them that it didn't totally interrupt it, but it was still wasn't ideal. Like,
this person was so loud, there was no possible way to be far enough away from them.
No.
Like, they just didn't realize they were in a movie theater.
Bummer, dude.
But it was amazing.
The movie was great.
The movie was fabulous.
At some point, we'll all go to the draft house and have a great time.
We'll all just show up to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Show up to you guys. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, gotta believe. So that was Shanine and mine. So Emma, we're going back around to you.
Okay. Despite the delay getting so much content for Horizon Forbidden West, as we get closer. It was supposed to be released, I think, last month or whatever, and then they pushed it back to February, which is a bummer. But we've been getting a lot more like gameplay and trailery stuff and some more info on some of the robots, new robots. Um, so I'm super excited to just like see more of that. And it's like just even though we don't have the game yet, it's really exciting for me to like just get little peeks and tidbits to hype up the game. Some really cool looking new machines to fight. There's a snake supposedly that I'm ready to fight and take down. So that's something that's exciting for me. So that's been a top 5. My cold's getting in the way, but um,
I feel like too. There's been a lot of. I don't know if I just didn't catch it leading up to the original Horizon since it wasn't like an unknown, or if it just like wasn't existing. But I feel like Sony as a whole has been taking advantage of the game coming out to like push a lot of other stuff. So like we had the graphic novels that came out, or have like there's like an ongoing comic that's a part of that. It seems like there's a lot more like Aloy merch and Aloy stuff that I'm seeing around.
Yep.
Like it seems like it's been really fun in that regard of getting to see all of these like getting to see I guess the IP be a bigger thing. Like the board game released this year as well.
Yeah.
I think it was this year. Board games are weird when it comes to releases. But there's like been so much cool stuff for that IP. Let alone the fact that now we have what looks like it's going to be an awesome game dropping in February. So
yeah, I mean, as someone who absolutely adores the first game, like there is always that concern and worry of like, is the sequel going to live up to the justice and do the first game justice? Like, is it going to carry that on? And I feel like with some of the more recent content that's been coming out, like I'm not quite as worried about that now. So, yeah, that's a game.
That's a game.
That's a game. It's both a this year excited and something I'm looking forward to. So,
Shanine, what do you got?
All right. I finally got into Critical Role this year after years of wanting to. I loved the Summer of Abria with Exandria Unlimited, and I'm just so obsessed. And I've been really enjoying Critical Role Campaign 3 and then just all of the D&D and RPGs in my life. I just love them all. I can't get enough of D&D.
whoa!
Are you caught up on Campaign 3?
Yes.
To no surprise, I am behind.
But it's okay, so am I.
Yeah, I've been living vicariously through Avoided Ice's live tweets of Thursday nights, and so that's been a ton of fun. But I definitely need to catch up. And then, how many campaigns are you in now, Shanine?
I mean, I'm in ours. I'm in the one that my husband is DMing. That's it right now. I used to be in more, but it just was like not working with my schedule. So, and then as many solo RPGs as I want.
Yeah.
And I'm also prepping for a couple one shots.
Are you gonna DM those one shots?
No.
Oh.
No, but Mike
You
Fraley
could totally
from
DM
Geek
one.
at Arms is DMing it. So
I'm just saying, Shanine, if you ever want players, I will attend the one shot.
Sign me up.
DM.
Sign me up. I'm there.
oh man. Okay.
No pressure.
I'm hoping that I get some cool RPG books for Christmas. So yeah, we'll see.
My next one is going to be a bit of an overlap with Emma. And that has been reading
yeah.
for book club. And so this is kind of just the general thing. And I feel like I said this last year. Like, as someone who's not like a big reader, like I have read almost 12 books this year. Guess which 12 they have been. And I say because I'm not quite done with The Witcher yet. But yeah, like we had some great book clubs, and before I get into kind of some of the specifics there, Emma, what do you want to say book club wise? What stood out to you?
My specific is reading The Witcher. I mean, we're reading The Last Wish, but I've been wanting to read at least one of the Witcher books for a couple of years, ever since season 1 came out. Because I watched season 1 and was like, oh man, I gotta read these books. And now we're reading a book, and it's a lot of fun to like just actually get to read it. That's one of my top 5 because I've been like so busy, but it's nice to have that like reading specifically, but also like a book I've been wanting to read for a while. So, he.
Mm-hmm. And then for me, I think one of the things that I've really enjoyed about our book clubs, shout out, of course, to Shanine, who leads us through all of those.
Go, Shanine, go!
But is the fact that even when we've had what I would consider objectively bad books, looking at you, Treasure Island, Ready Player 2, and Masters of Kung Fu Collection, Weapons of the Soul.
Oof.
Looking at those 3 in specific.
Oof.
Like, even when we've had those, I feel like we've had such good conversations, like as part of those book clubs. Especially in the fact that maybe it's like we all suffered together. And so we like all we were all like on the same page going into those. And so like, so we have that end of like, here are some great conversations around what I would consider not great books. And then we had stuff on the other end of the spectrum, like Neverwhere, which I would never have read on my own, but was probably my favorite book that we read this year. And then Not All Who Wander Spiritually Are Lost. They called us Enemy, Dune. Like, I loved Dune, and I definitely don't think I would have committed to reading that dense of a book had it not been for book club. But like, I'm super happy that I did. And
I still haven't finished Dune.
Hey, have you finished the first third though?
I'm maybe like 10 pages away from the first third.
Okay, finish the first.
I don't know.
Finish the first third, then go watch the movie.
I mean, I've seen the movie.
Oh, okay.
But still haven't finished the book, but that's okay. I'll get to it probably this summer. So.
I know, like, Shanine, as what I guess is the de facto planner of the group, already has some ideas for what we're going to be doing for book club for 2022, which I'm super excited for what all she has planned. And so, yeah, some of probably my favorite content that we've done this year has been doing those book clubs, to the point that I was considering, it's like, what if we did more than one a month? But then I'm also like, I can barely read one of these books a month. There's no way I'm knocking out 2. And so
I would absolutely not be able to do that unless we were reading like kids' books that I could read in 10 minutes.
But yeah, so that's
I love the idea though.
Yeah,
I'm here for it. Would not be able to commit.
1 novel and 1 graphic novel a month. Graphic novels are faster.
You know, you're not wrong.
I like the way you think, Shanine.
Yeah, we'll circle back.
We'll come back to that, yeah. Contemplate behind the scenes.
But yeah, and so again, I highly recommend all that content. It's all in a playlist over on YouTube. And so some awesome stuff. Again, raising my hands here so that hopefully I will see this and put the thing in one of the corners. I don't remember which one it goes into, but
also raising hands.
Yes, thank you, Emma. I appreciate your support. And so, but yeah, so that's mine and kind of Emma's. Anything else you wanted to say for The Witcher, Emma?
I'm saving some of my comments for Thursday, because yeah,
You mean this Thursday?
this Thursday,
December
pitch.
23rd on twitch.tv/onegeek411.
Yes, twitch.tv that 1geek411, whatever what Cameron said. Yes. I've just been really enjoying reading it. It's been fun to see the parallels between season 1 and the book and some other things, and it's just a lot of fun to read and delightful, and yeah. As well as just reading books in general.
And I may have not put book club as one of my highlights, but it is.
It wasn't on your list.
I
This just in, let the record show that I like books more than Shanine does. So.
True.
The day Cameron puts it on his list and Shanine does not is today.
Yes.
But it was a good year for book club. It was amazing getting to read Neil Gaiman for book club. Having Tracy Rhodes on for Not All Who Wander Are Lost was awesome. Getting to read a Doctor Who book, super fun. And yeah, super excited to talk about The Witcher on Thursday.
So many thoughts.
And then we haven't posted this yet, but shout out to Midnight at the Barclay Hotel being our most viewed video on YouTube.
Woo!
Like, I definitely would not have expected it to be that book club, but Shanine and Chris, y'all killed it, and that was our most viewed video of 2021. So,
wow.
Fun. That was a fun one.
Go, guys, go.
Yeah. And Shanine, I guess, what is your next one?
Okay, so speaking of books,
trying to get back into everybody's good graces.
Like, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I was real into spooky things this year. And
really, Shanine? I hadn't noticed at all.
I know. I
even a
hit it pretty
little.
well.
Yeah. Some
I never talked about
it's
it.
still spooky, like a spooky Christmas season.
I've been reading a anthology of Victorian Christmas ghost stories. So yes, spookiness
that sounds
is
fun.
alive and well.
Hey, Shanine, can you send me the name of that book? That sounds really fun.
Oh yeah,
I want to read it. Okay, cool. Thanks. Side note.
But I think my favorite book that I read this year, and like possibly in my top 10 of all time, maybe higher. Like, it was just the most masterfully crafted novel that I have ever read, was The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. It was so excellent, and I loved it. And also shout out to the TV show, which was a terrible adaptation, but a really excellent show.
Yeah, I've seen the TV show, and it was pretty interesting. But I suppose I'll read the book and not expect much in terms of TV to book.
No, the similarities is that there is Hill House. There is a character named Nellie and Luke, and I forget her name, Theo. They are not related.
There you go.
That's about it. Really good.
What were some of your favorite parts of the book?
Oh man, I can't remember it specifically, but it was describing like the wallpaper in one of the rooms as a distant scream. And it was so good. And like, you don't think that describing wallpaper can be that creepy and like foreboding.
Yeah.
It's
Or
so
Freaked
good.
out
or
just by
that
you
it would
talking about
give
that. Like, this is why I don't do spooky. Like,
it's
And
also such an interesting way to describe wallpaper.
yeah,
I wouldn't
it was
necessarily pick that phrasing, but it works.
it worked so good. And like she used phrases like that, like just totally strange descriptions, but so perfect to like both describe what it is and also like just build the horror atmosphere. But another thing I love about the book is it's really not that scary. Like it's a lot more about the story and the journey of Nellie than being scared. It's real good.
I kind of like that. Okay, like that's getting my attention more because like that's
Yeah.
kind of like I think that's the reason I like The Last of Us is because it's not about being. It happens to have some things that are scary, but it's not about being scary. And so you saying that has me more interested than. And books
If
are a
I
little
was
different
to
too, but
Yeah, if I was to recommend you a horror thing, it would be this novel cuz like it's really not that scary.
I've started a sticky note on my desktop of books to read, and that is at the top of the list. Haunting of Hill House.
And it's pretty short, so you get through it real fast.
Noted.
so for me, we're now entering the surprise, the things that are old that I did in 2021. It's almost like I made sure to clarify that rule at the beginning because it applied to me. And so,
Things that are old?
like older, like not 20, not new things, not like 2021 things. So, um, but are things that I just got to. And so, um,
I
so
got you.
the first thing is that I guess in 2019, early 2020, I backed Frosthaven over on Kickstarter. Surprise, it's still not here yet. Um, but
Did
I
you mean to absolutely no one's surprise
right.
for backing a Kickstarter board game?
Right. Estimated. I pulled up the page because I was curious to what it actually was, and the estimated delivery was March 2021. Um, which Um, but they've been great. Keep consistent updates and timeline changes and stuff. And obviously, the past year has been what it's been. Um, but very recently, in the past couple months, Deanna and I have started playing Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, which is like a spin-off to the game Gloomhaven, which Frosthaven is a sequel to. And so that's been a ton of fun and has very much kind of cemented my excitement for Frosthaven. And so I talked about this relatively recently, but the idea is that Gloomhaven is kind of like D&D without a dungeon master. And so you have stuff that's going on in the city. There's events that occur, and you have to make choices on how you'll handle situations. And then as you go, the city grows. And in chat, Varoth has a question: are the Gloomhaven games 2-player friendly? We are playing with 2 players, and it's been pretty good. And so, the game does balance itself based on the number of players, and so like there's less enemies and things like that if you're playing with 2 players versus more. So we've been really enjoying playing it 2 players. And so definitely recommend. And you can actually find it at like Target and stuff like that. And so highly recommend Jaws of the Lion for anyone. It is definitely up there as like a longer board game because it's legacy style. So like there's like, I think there's 25 scenarios that you work your way through. And so each scenario is kind of the length of a normal like board game session. So you're looking at like an hour or so per session. And so there's a lot of content there, and we're only in like session 4, but highly recommend it based off of what we've played so far. And so go check that out if you're into that type of board games. From there, I guess we're in our final top 5 geeky things from 2021. And so before we kick it back up to Emma, chat, remember you can drop your top geeky things over in there and we'll talk about them. And yeah, so Emma, go ahead and take us into our final round.
Final round. My 5th top thing that I'm excited for, even though I'm not quite caught up, is the Wheel of Time show on Amazon Prime. They're doing a wonderful job with it, staying pretty true to the books, or book, because it's the first book. And it's very delightful to see one of my favorite book series on, like, in a TV show adaptation. So it's just exciting to see that. Final episode is this week, I think. But yeah, I'd recommend it. Just a very exciting TV show that I've been waiting for a couple of years. So it's very simple but very exciting. So
this is another one of those that like I've been tangentially aware of for a long time, and like I haven't.
Doesn't help that I've kept talking about it. Yeah. So
and like honestly, I think that might be one of the next shows that like either I watch or we watch together. Just hearing you talk about it has been pretty exciting, and so
it's a lot of fun. It's definitely like it's got its own unique world and all of that stuff to sort of explore. So, yeah. Pretty simple, but pretty exciting. So,
hopefully, the final episode is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta catch up, but you know,
Shanine, what is your number 5?
All right, my number 5 is anime. I feel like in previous years, I have really wanted to get into anime, and I feel like this year is the year it finally happened. I like get anime now. And the anime that is largely responsible for that is Attack on Titan. And I'm so pumped for the end of it coming out next year. And it's so good. It makes me cry. And that's all I want.
Are you a weeb now?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd go so far as to classify myself as that.
Give yourself a few months.
I do like anime.
Yeah. Are you the meme of like 1 day on anime, 2 days on anime?
1 year on anime?
I love it. Yeah, I mean, me and my husband did start learning Japanese a while ago. Might have to start again.
Do it.
Sounds perfect to me. So my last one kind of ties in with a big shout out to our community that's hung out with us through this year. But as I shared last week, and I've already referenced the Game Awards episode twice, but I'm more excited for the month of February of 2022 than I was for all of 2021 for video games. And so that has been kind of weird for me. It's been a weird year for that. But kind of out of that, it's been one of the first years in a long time where I've like really gone back and played older games. Cause like in general, if I miss a game, I miss it and I just don't go back to it. But this year, like started out knocking out Control, when that came to PS Plus, then playing God of War, and then, even like this past week, like literally yesterday, I beat The Last of Us Remastered, which was my first time going back to that game since it first came out on PS3. And so like that's been a really fun experience getting to, especially for Control and God of War, getting to see those as like both amazing games that I just hadn't gotten to. And then also getting to experience them with our chat and go through things. And I feel like it was some of the time that we really first started to see some of the recurring faces in chat, was going through those and getting to interact with people more outside of like the normal episodes or just outside of a Discord. And so that has been an awesome experience. And both Control and God of War have since become like two of my favorite games. And so it's really crazy to get to like look back and play them both this year, for the first time, and now be hyped for whenever sequels come to those games that I would have missed had 2021 had more video games I was interested in. So
Yep.
But yeah, it's been a very fun year for that, and definitely excited for everything that's coming in 2022, because now it looks like
Looking
all
at
I'm gonna
you
be
February.
yeah, my top 5 for next year is just going to be 5 video games.
Yeah.
Just based on what we know of so far, let alone what's coming out the rest of the year. So,
Ugh.
and so there's like a decent chance that like my top 5 for next year is like solidified by like June of next year, kind of thing. Like there's so much
Absolutely.
coming out, so or it's all the things I hated about 2022. Like it's like either way. And so yeah, so like that's been really fun. I'm definitely excited for getting to do more of that type stuff in 2022 and getting to experience some more games with people. And so but that brings us to the end of our top 5 geeky things from 2021. And before we get into some of the answers from the chat, do want to give a shout out. I think for the most part, people are planning to take some time off from streaming and stuff like that. Is anyone planning to stream this week?
I don't have access to my streaming gaming supplies, so nothing from me.
I think I'm going to stream tomorrow, but I reserve the right to change my mind at the last minute, depending on how work goes.
Yep. Do what's best for you. And so, and then I will not be streaming on Sunday. It's crazy to say, as I literally forgot that we were doing our top 5 today. I thought we had one more week. But yeah, this coming Sunday is the day after Christmas. So we have family stuff. And so I completely forgot that we were that close. And so I'll not be streaming. And then we will all be back though on Thursday for our book club on Witcher: The Last Wish. Talking through that collection of short stories. I also have a feeling we're going to talk about The Witcher Season 1 quite a bit. I say for no reason whatsoever.
No reason in particular.
So, yeah, so really hope everyone can come and join us and hang out for that book club. And then after that, aside from maybe the gameplay stream or stuff that pops up, and we will not be doing any podcasts next week. And so there'll be no Monday episode. And like I said, unless some people just choose to do gameplay streams during the week, which of course everyone is always more than welcome to. But there's not really a plan for more content in after book club until we get into 2022. And so look for us back. Should be on January 3rd on at 6:45 Mountain Time. And so with that, we got some responses in chat for what people are hyped about. Avoided Ice says, in no particular order, Critical Role. See my previous content about living Thursday nights vicariously through her live tweets. Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, Here to Slay, and Doctor Who.
I love
I
Here
would
to
I,
Slay.
I would say Doctor Who, but I'm a bit disgruntled with what's his face right now. So I'm with you on that, but also not a big fan of what's his face, the showrunner. So kind of frustrated with what he's been doing. So generally yes, just I need my my bro to come back and clean things up.
And say things. Shanine, did you say you'd played Here to Slay?
Yeah. It's so fun.
I just pulled it up and was looking at it, and it's by Unstable Games, who I really enjoy
Yeah.
their stuff.
Is this a like a board game or a
It is a board game.
It's like a
yes.
card game, yeah.
okay?
Tabletop game. Basically, you're trying to put together a dungeoning party.
Ah, I
And
see.
they have loot box characters, and one of them's a panda with nunchucks, and it looks like the best thing ever. And so, on top of the fact that Unstable Games just has like the best artwork ever for their stuff, so I will need to check that game out at some point and play it. And then Varoth says Wheel of Time on TV. Pathfinder Kingmaker, getting over draft anxiety in Magic Arena. Their long-running D&D game is getting close to the end game, which is crazy exciting. And then Wingspan as their top 5, and that is a great collection of things. I say having, I guess, never had a D&D game that's made it to end game. Haven't played Wingspan, but Deanna really likes it. And then Pathfinder Kingmaker is on my like to play list, but I haven't gotten there yet. So, but that's a good list. And
One of these days I'll play Wingspan.
yeah, gotta
I
believe.
keep hearing amazing things about it.
That's kind of how I feel with it. Like it comes up a lot when we do game nights, but we tend to split the party, where some people will go play one game and some people will play the other, and I always end up with the other. And so whether that's because it's like the game I brought that like we end up playing, and so then it's like, oh well, I happen to bring a game that I really enjoy, so like we're gonna play that, or I'm gonna play that, or vice versa, or something else comes up. But yeah, it's on my list and it looks so cool. But, yeah, I guess with that, let's go ahead and wrap up the episode proper as we get ready for our post-show chat.
Okay, real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to post the poll for our January book club book tonight so that we can announce our next read on Thursday. So make sure you check our Twitter and vote.
And Shanine, is there something special about this Twitter poll?
There is. I will
Please tell us.
I will not be posting the titles of any of the books. I will be posting words associated with the books, and you will just have to guess which one sounds like fun.
I'm super intrigued because
I'm so excited about this. Like, yeah.
Also, as a full disclosure, we don't know what these are.
No,
Yeah,
like
Shanine has not
Shanine
told
knows
us.
what these are. And so there's so much mystery here that I'm all in for.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I don't know how it's gonna go. Anything could happen.
Literally anything could happen. In before, these were all just the same book, and Shanine just like is doing this as like a kangaroo court. Where she's like, we're going to read this one, but I'm going to make it look like everyone has choice.
We're going to see what collection of words is the most intriguing.
Yeah, so that'll be going up tonight. And then, so if you're watching on YouTube, you need to get over there quickly because that will be wrapping up soon by the time that this episode hits YouTube. So get on over to Shanine's social media and vote.
Woo!
Yeah. So, listeners, we will be back Thursday with book club and then be back again in 2022. Until then, you can always find us on our social media as OneGeek411. Hang out with us in the Discord server. Shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. You can also watch live on our Twitch, 6:45 Mountain Time, and then catch the videos over on YouTube. And then you can also check us out wherever it is that you listen to podcasts, and check out our website, onegeek411.com. And then, if you want to connect with us individually, you can do that through our personal social media. Mine is Humar Whittle.
Mine is I am not prepared with an I in the prepared.
I'm the Hoot and Howl on Twitter and Hoot and Howl Tales, TALES on Instagram.
And it's been a great week.
Christmas.
Read a book.